afternoon. I'm Crystal Andrews, a student at the University of Tennessee. This is an informative speech on how to prevent, spot, and report human trafficking. Imagine you are doing the dishes, driving to work, or another normal everyday activity. Suddenly, you hear a report that someone is missing, and the authorities suspect a human trafficking ring. Suddenly, you realize that this could happen to you or someone you know, maybe even your child. I plan to tell you steps you can take to prevent this from happening with assistance from a peer-reviewed journal, a documentary, and an official government website. Human trafficking happens all around the world. I plan to explain how you can prevent it, spot it if it's happening, and finally how to report it. First, I will show you one way we can prevent human trafficking. Next, I will show you how you can spot victims or potential victims of human trafficking. And finally, I plan to tell you how you can report suspected human or human trafficking while remaining safe. Human trafficking is a horrible event that happens all around the world. I take for granted the fact that I was taught nothing is ever free, and if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. Many people in rural areas or underdeveloped areas do not understand these sayings, and the best way we can help them is by spreading this and other information to those areas. We can help do this by funding literature and schooling in at-risk, rural, or underdeveloped areas. In the study titled Survivors' Conceptualization of Human Trafficking Prevention by Donna Hudeo, she states that human trafficking is the fastest growing criminal industry worldwide, with estimated profits over $150 billion annually. The study goes on to state that about 25 million people are in forced labor. About 75% are women and girls, while 25% are children. The journal goes on to describe how the best way to prevent this is by teaching human rights to rural and underdeveloped areas and nations, specifically to women in those areas. Another question often asked is how to spot human trafficking. One of the main ways to spot human trafficking from the safety of your home is through the internet. Many predators use online websites and social media to advertise and target victims of human trafficking. In the documentary Sex Trafficking in the USA by PBS, aired in 2014, it talks about perpetrators targeting runaways or susceptible marks through the internet and at places like outlet malls. Once they have secured their target, the traffickers would advertise the victims on sites like Walpole and give the girls fake names, information, and details. Customers wanting to procure time with these victims would then contact the perpetrators through the girls' bios and website pages. How exactly would they know who to target, though? The documentary at 44:29, Saran Hunt states that an FBI agent told her a perpetrator said he would go up to single women and girls in the mall and tell them they had pretty eyes. If they looked at him and said confidently thanks, he would move on. Whereas if they looked at their shoes and said, "No, I don't," he knew he had his next target. By paying attention to websites advertising young-looking women as escorts and paying attention to kids or adults that seem uncomfortable or nervous, either with someone or alone, we can hinder and even stop human trafficking. Perhaps the most important question is, once you spot this behavior or situation, or suspect someone is a victim, what should you do? The best thing you can do if you suspect or see human trafficking is to report it to the authorities immediately. This can be done in numerous ways, but you should not personally approach the person if there is a possible perpetrator nearby. This could lead to injury aimed at you or the victim, and even death. The phone number for human trafficking is 1-888-373-7888 according to the U.S. Department of State's website. The hotline is manned all over the country by people 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you do not have the number memorized, you can always dial 911. With the evolution of technology like smartphones, this has never been easier to do. In conclusion, while human trafficking is scary to think about and hard to imagine it happens, I hope the information I have provided helps you realize how we can prevent human trafficking, spot it when it is happening, and how to report it safely. We can help change people's lives and in this horrible industry by following these steps. Thank you for your time.